What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be checking out a video by Jubilee. It's going to be some black ladies and gentlemen answering some questions anonymously, to see if we get some extra truths out of it in today's modern cancel culture. All right, let's get into it.
In an age of callouts, culture wars, and perfect facades, people can be afraid to express how they really feel. So we brought together 7 strangers,
Definitely
protected
true.
their identities, and asked them all 7 burning audience questions. What will be revealed when we take the mask off?
If your answer is yes, you'll turn your light on. The police.
I know that there are quote unquote good cops, but if you are working in an entire force with individuals who are essentially mostly racist, and where police come from, the history of it with being the sheriffs of slaves and tracking down slaves using dogs or whatever they're using, it's just wearing that badge. It's just, you're never really here for us, and we never feel safe for that reason. So, them.
The only reason why I can't fully say that, like he just said, there are some good out there. And personally, having a cousin who
I
is a
didn't hear him
police
say
officer,
that.
but everything else behind that, and all of the other people who bring the racist and pretty much mentality to it, yeah, no, it's them for sure.
All right, we're going to have everyone join the conversation.
I don't really feel anything towards this statement because I haven't had any encounters with police like ever.
Why do you have to have a personal experience? Why can't you just look at the damage that's has been done?
It's
Because it's not that simple. At least in my humble opinion, it's not that simple. You can't look at everybody else's example, or let's be honest, the worst examples, because that's what we're all going to see on the news. We're not going to see the happy stories of the officer did X, Y, Z. We're going to see usually what drives the clicks: violence, sex, stuff like that. That's what gets the clicks, and these news medias, they know that by now. So not to say that it doesn't exist, and that's definitely not what I'm saying. It definitely does exist, that mentality that that person is thinking about. But to say that it's every police officer to have that mentality based off somebody else's experiences and solely somebody else's experiences. I don't agree. I don't agree.
different because I feel like I feel the weight of my ancestors in certain situations in other areas of my life than I do with the police.
Okay, this is not me taking away from the black community in general, because police are always targeting us, but I find it interesting that only the black men had agreed with that.
I'm like on the fence with it because I know that there are black.
Why? 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 That's not surprising at all. Because let's be very honest and very real. A lot of the things that we see portrayed in the news, it's usually black men. And that's not to say that police officers are looking for black men to go and assault, but the truth is, whether it's due to poverty, whether it's due to culture that praises crime and violence and stuff like that, chances are that's what you're going to have. You're going to have black men having more interactions with police officers than females. And let's be honest, than most.
Cops out there that are truly trying to protect and serve. And I really don't know what I would do if we completely destroyed the police system. I would be scared because it's like, okay, well,
It'd be
I
stupid.
don't believe
That's what it
that
would
is
be.
the solution. But yes, black men have that main.
That would be stupid. Because as much as we see a lot of these things on the news, let's not pretend for a moment. And it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter where you are. The people who are doing the most damage to each other are the people that are closest to each other. So yeah, you fear the police coming in, but the police isn't killing how many 20 people in Chicago every weekend. The people in those communities are doing it to themselves. So while it may seem like, yeah, the officers, they're not here to help us, they're here to kill us, I hope we're not keeping count. Because if we were keeping count, we'd probably stop talking about it. We'd probably stop talking about skin colors and actually say, let's do something positive. Instead of trying to say, let's ignore the hundreds that we killed each other, but let's pay attention to the one that was, that one right there, because, a white police officer did that. Because let's be real, we all know how the news works. If it's not a white police officer and a black person, it probably won't make the news. Okay? It doesn't make the criteria.
Racist towards you.
Never heard of that one.
I have a neighbor who is very privileged. She's married to a white man. She's Asian, and I feel like that comes a lot nowadays in America. I feel like Asian women are trying to be the white woman of America, and they're not realizing that they're also in marginalized communities just as we are.
Especially Asians that are born
What is marginal?
into
What does
American
marginalized
culture.
even mean?
It seems like they're just pretty much white and they don't have any empathy for other minorities.
I have had negative interactions with like Asian people or like other people because I'm black and because colorism is a thing. But I've also had like positive interactions. So I feel like, yeah, Asian, it's just a very generalized term.
I
Thank
know
you.
it happens.
That's just a generalized point of view. It's like, yeah, you're gonna meet good people and black people from all skin colors, from all races, from all religions. It's all these dividing of people and lumping them together. That's how we end up with a lot of things that, that the history doesn't want us to repeat, you know? That's how we end up with people in concentration places. That's how we ended up with black people being grouped as, you don't have a this, you're not that, you should only be for this. That's how we end up in a situation like that when we put people into little boxes and we say, this is how you are and this is who you are. You can't do that. Character, character, character. What did MLK say, right? You judge the person by their character, the contents of their
Of
character.
course, but me personally, I have not experienced racism from the Asian community. I do totally
I
agree
think
with
you
the
just
idea of
want
colorism because
to
it
avoid
does seem like the darker you are, the quote uglier you are in any ethnicity, which does suck.
I think the American influence is
that. That right there is something that I will say. Research the internet. I always me and my friend we joke and try to say, what country would we go to and stuff like that. And the reality is, and again, I don't like to push the race thing, but look it up yourself. We were talking about going to Dubai in the Middle East, and I kind of have to say, have you looked into the Middle East and how they view people of our color? Because it's not good. And then when we look at the world as in general, not everyone obviously, when you look at beauty standards, look around places like Japan, places like Korea, places like the Philippines. A lot of those people, let's be real, places like Jamaica, a lot of those places put more value on how light you are because that's viewed as better, That's viewed as better. That's more desirable. So there's some truth to what she said there, and I agree.
Never dated outside of my race, but maybe I should because a lot of black men tend to go to non-black women.
They can control them.
Yes,
They feel they can control
They're easier.
and because they have European features,
Easier.
softer hair. They
Exotic.
like the
Easier.
Kim Kardashian looking woman.
Exotic.
You want the black woman aesthetic, but you need the European features. So maybe I should date outside of my race, but I personally, like you said, I want to build with a black man. I want to have black children. That's what I want to do. But with this generation of black men, I don't know if it's possible.
Me having sex with a white man, it's the master aspect, it's the buck breaking history, if you know what buck breaking is, it's all of that combined, and then the idea of most times, even in heterosexual relationships, it's usually a fetish for the individual to be with you. It's either because you have a nice body or your skin is so dark and lovely, or because you have, that tool that they want, if you all know what I'm talking about. So yeah, in general, it's always something on your body that they want. And if it's genuine,
Yeah, but that's a fact for anybody, no? That's a fact for everybody. Are you looking at somebody in the streets and decide you're gonna go ask them out and say, the way she inhaled is just amazing? No, you have to have noticed her in the first place, or he, whatever, to get to that point. I think pointing out the fact that somebody finds you attractive because of what you look like, that's kind of how dating works, though, at least in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, of course it has to go beyond that, but that's kind of how it starts. That's just a fact. I, I don't get that one.
Only true love, that can happen. But for the most part, I just think interracial dating is disgusting.
I've felt oppressed
Ooh.
by my own community.
No.
Like, I want to say, record straight, I love myself now. Like, I love being a Black woman. But, like, for so long, because of also family members feeding into the whole idea of, like, oh, you know, you're so pretty because you're lighter. For so long as a child, I
I literally just said that. Even in the Black community, the color of your skin, if you were just a little bit lighter, if you were red bone, right? Yeah, red bone. They put more emphasis on why that's more. There's more emphasis on why that's valued. People want that more than anything else. When it's on a Black person, at least. When it's on a white person per se, tans are good. It's okay to be darker, but it, either way, my point is that's a fact, and that's something that I've experienced as well. Again, whether it's in Jamaica, whether it's in America, whether it's in the Philippines, the Middle East, a darker skin color isn't usually viewed as a positive. It's a fact. I call it a fact. It's my life experience. All right.
associated being Black as being something that was a bad thing because I saw how people that were darker than me were treated. And I was just like, oh, I don't want to be this anymore. But I mean, with a lot
And again, I'm not talking about, police officers treating you a certain way. I mean, just your own people. Light skin, even among the African American Black community, Black skin isn't the top. It's not the best per se. Any man who's listening to this, who's an African American or Black man, he's gonna hear the words red bone. Jamaicans, browning. I, it's different. It's more valued than Black. That's a fact. It's just, I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying it is what it is. That's how it works. And if you guys disagree, let me know in the comments,
of
please.
love and compassion and hardcore teaching, I was like, you know, being Black is honestly the best thing ever.
We lit.
All right, guys, we're gonna cut it off right there. I find that interesting. I really do. And I believe that comes back to the same conversation of self-love. When you grow up and all you see is, let's say, magazines about the skinny person, you see the person with the long straight hair, you see the person who has the thin lips, the thin waist. This is why when someone saw Obama become president, people love that because they get to see themselves in somebody like that. I believe that's a powerful thing to have. I believe that more Black people do need to love themselves as they are, not how other people want them to be. There's different standards for everything, and that's something I have realized. Um, yeah, but that's all. That's all I got, guys. I do believe that was actually a pretty good conversation. That lady brought up some really good points. If there's any message to give to that is, Black people, love yourself. Love who you are, all of you. All right, guys, I appreciate you kicking it with me for another video. See you in the next one. Peace.